fantastic. So again, thank you all for joining us for this Bookmobile presentation. We're happy to have you from all over the country. I want to take a moment to introduce our moderator for the day. And moderating for us is Ida McGhee, the retired manager of the Hartford Public Library on Wheels. So Ida is a retired librarian since 2003 and the manager of the Hartford, she was the manager of the Hartford Public Library on Wheels department. Ida was also a past Connecticut BCALA Connecticut affiliate co-president with Vivian Bordeaux of the Bridgeport Public Library. She's also one of the founders of Cornucopia of Rhode Island, a library community of color. Ida received last year's 2020 Library Champion Award from the Rhode Island Library Association for her outstanding work in building a platform for librarians of color within Rhode Island. Ida, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. So, welcome everyone and good afternoon. I am just grateful for Kim for the warm introductions. And thank you, BCALA Connecticut, for presenting this much needed conference this afternoon. It's going to be such an enlightening program, and I'm very grateful to be a part of it. Before we begin, though, I must take a moment to remember Eric Carle. I cannot tell you how often I used his books on the Bookmobile and throughout my career as a librarian to tell stories during story hour. The Very Hungry Caterpillar is my most favorite book, not only for children, but for adults. I mean, it was just so rewarding, that book, because you can do so much with it. And I just wanted to pay homage to Eric Carle. Thank you. So we have a couple photos, Farah. We're going to let you in on some things, a little about me. I've worked in libraries for over 50 years, and I will be honest and say that the most rewarding job I had was as the manager of the Hartford Public Library Bookmobile. Farah, are you showing the photos? You can start. So Michelle will tell you more about this, but as the manager of the Bookmobile, we changed that name back in the day from Bookmobile to Library on Wheels. And this was because it encompassed that the library was a full service library on wheels. Farrah's not showing my photos. Farrah, where are my photos? And I have to tell you that this was simply the best job I've ever had during my career as a librarian for this time. As I, let me just hold on and see if she's going to show them.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do some connections. I apologize.
Okay.
I'm trying to get it up.
No problem. We can go on. But I just wanted to let you know that the Bookmobile, there I am. And you can just go ahead and show a couple of those. Smokey the Bear, the best job ever. It just goes on and on. I will mention though, the Smokey the Bear, that's how I got a connection for the BCALA Connecticut chapter to do the Martin Luther King programs that we are doing every January. That was through meeting Smokey the Bear. We became friends, and that's how we got involved back in 2000, I think 1 or 2, to become a part of the annual Martin Luther Day program. That was through Smokey the Bear. So I did want to share that little history. But as you can see, we did all kinds of programs, and I'm sure Michelle's going to highlight a lot of that a little later. But that job was just the best, and I'm just so happy this afternoon to be a part of this. As we know, bookmobiles are just not here in Connecticut, they're all over the world. I mean, we have donkeys, we have helicopters, all kinds of bookmobiles. But David this afternoon is going to tell us about some bookmobiles nationally here in the US. And I was telling David earlier, back in the day, I used to attend the bookmobile conferences in Columbus, Ohio. Oh my, you get such great ideas. So he's going to let us in on what's happening today with the Bookmobile services. Welcome. Kim, you have a little bio about David you want to share?
I sure do. I'm so excited to talk about David. We've only just met, but I'm already, I'm hoping that David and I can stay in touch and kind of be friends going forward. So David Kelsey has been the Outreach Services Librarian at the St. Charles Public Library in St. Charles, Illinois since 2015, where he coordinates the department services and programs. David is the 2021 president for the National Association of Bookmobile and Outreach Services and has spearheaded outreach interest network groups for the Reaching Across Illinois Library System, a system-wide automated network and library integrated network consortia. He was a 2017 ALA Emerging Leader and is the recipient of the 2018 ILA Alexander J. You're going to have to say this right, David, because I know I'm about to get it wrong. There it is. Sir Zepex Award, the 2018 ASG CLA Exceptional Services Award, the 2019 ABOS John Philip Excellence in Outreach Award, and the 2021 RUSA Francis Joseph Campbell Award. David has been published in the March and April 2017 and July and August 2018 editors of Public Librarians magazine and was featured in the March-April 2018 edition of American Libraries magazine. David received his MLS from the University of Rhode Island and is the recipient of the 2019 Alumni of the Year Award. David, thank you so much for Zooming in with us today.
Hello, everybody. It's so nice to be here. It's an honor and a privilege to be here today. My name is David Kelsey, and I am the 2021 president of the Association of Bookmobile and Outreach Services. So what is the Association of Bookmobile and Outreach Services? So we are also known as ABOS, and we are the national professional organization for anyone and everyone that does any type of outreach or mobile library services for their community. This includes bookmobiles, outreach vans, mobile library services, book bikes, senior services, youth outreach, little free library programs, incarcerated programs, incarcerated patrons, homeless patrons, immigrants, story walks, and anyone and everyone who serves any other type of marginalized or underserved population. We are an affiliate of the American Library Association, and we just celebrated our 15th year anniversary last year as an organization in 2020. But our history dates back way back to the 1980s and 1990s. With the Great American Bookmobile Conference is part at Clarion University in partnership with ARSL, the World Small Libraries Conference. So we are a very passionate and dedicated group of individuals who just love expanding the reach of the library and bringing the library to the community, meeting patrons at their point of need, and serving the non-traditional libraries in our community. We just celebrated 475 members on Tuesday, and we are hoping to reach the end of 500 members by the end of June. So we love what we do in ABOS, and we love making a difference in our communities. So some of our 2021 ABOS events, if you want to get involved, is Virtual Bookmobile Parade, which happened on April 7th. And we featured over 330 bookmobiles and outreach vans from across the United States and around the world on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for a full 24 hours. And this happened on National Library Outreach Day. Earlier in May, on May 3rd to May 7th, we had Little Free Library Week, where we featured over 130 Little Free Library programs across the United States to show the impact that Little Free Library programs do for public libraries through outreach services by breaking down barriers, getting books in the hands of children, adults, teens, and families, and fostering the sense of community spirit. Also, All Aboard Membership Week is coming up from June 14th to the 18th, where we are celebrating our members and prizes, giveaways, drawings, and we are showcasing member spotlights about the great people that make up our organization for the Association of Bookmobile and Outreach Services. And stay tuned for Book Bike Week, August 2nd to the 6th, where we are spotlighting the role of book bikes and librarians that serve their communities by book bike, and how bikes make an important outreach vehicle to serve communities and to serve the non-traditional library users. Story Walk Week is coming November 15th to the 19th, where we're featuring story walks and story trails and poetry walks, any other type of story walk. We want to feature you. And this is in partnership with Let's Move in Libraries. And during this week, we're promoting health, literacy, movement, and getting people outside to enjoy reading and nature. And don't forget about continuing education, which just launched 2 weeks ago. And this is a wonderful membership benefit just for those who are members of the Association of Bookmobile and Outreach Services. So what's on the horizon for our annual conference this year? October 11th to the 15th is our virtual conference, Jazz Up Your Outreach. Registration opens on June 16th. We have capped at 1,200 members. We have over 40 presentations, daily featured speakers, poster sessions, different ways to network engage with your colleagues from across the United States and around the world. Award nominations are open. Deadline is July 16th. We have 9 awards. We have spearheaded 4 new awards this year established 4 new awards this year for ABOS, 3 last year. So we have 9 total. Check out our awards and nominate a friend, a colleague, your coworker, a manager, a mentor, or one of your support staff members. Poster sessions are a new feature we're doing for our conference this year. So if you have a great program idea, do your poster session. It'll open up on June 21st. And if you like and want to know more about ABOS, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter or Instagram, join our listserv. It's free to join, and check out the April 2020 edition of our newsletter, Out and About. We just announced that we're looking for our articles for our next edition in July. And of course, we want you to become a part of our organization. Individual memberships are extremely reasonable and are very inexpensive compared to a lot of other library organizations. We want you to become part of our organization. Join us and be part of our growth in 2021 and beyond. We are hoping to get 500 members by the end of June. Just in the first 5 months of the year since December 31st, 2020, we have grown by over 130 members. We are a family. I always believe that ABOS is a family, how we connect, engage. There's no other organization quite like ABOS. We support each other, we believe in each other, and we mentor each other, and we inspire each other. Become part of our network, our national organization of the Association of Bookmobile and Outreach Services today. And there's a list to join. We also have an institutional membership rate, a student membership rate, and a retiree membership rate. The benefits are priceless. We'll be having more time for questions, but again, support our All Aboard membership campaign and become a member of the Association of Bookmobile and Outreach Services today. And thank you so much for coming to us. It is an honor to be here today. And again, I hope to see you at our virtual conference. And I hope that you will consider becoming a member of the Association of Bookmobile and Outreach Services. Have a wonderful day and a fantastic week.
Thank you so much, David. There's a question came in, and David, I don't know if you wanted to quickly answer this. It's definitely something that we can come back to at the end. Someone asked about keeping track of stats for programs or story walks. Mm-hmm. Did you have any insight or links that you can drop in the chat for that person, or should we touch back on that at the end?
I'd be happy to answer that. I would encourage you for stats for story walks. So first of all, please submit your information for story walk. We'll be calling for submissions in September, I believe, and more information, stay tuned for that. And I would encourage you, our partner is an excellent Let's Move in Libraries. He is the expert for everything for story walks. Let's Move in Libraries. They have a phenomenal website. Noah Lenstra is the executive director of Let's Move in Libraries. He's a phenomenal resource. Great guy. He has his information on Let's Move in Libraries. Check out that. They are the national leaders in everything story walks.
Thanks, David. Seemed pertinent. Okay, So I'm gonna take my moment and introduce actually my former supervisor, Ms. Josephine Fulcher Anderson. Josephine Fulcher Anderson has been employed at the Ferguson Library, Stanford's public library, for the last 33 years. She has dedicated her professional library career to providing informational, educational, entertainment, as well as cultural programs to the South End branch and Bookmobile for the residents of Stamford, Connecticut. She advocates on behalf of and is a community organizer for the underserved. She has been the Bookmobile supervisor and was my supervisor for the past 12 years, where she enjoys taking the library bookmobile to the community all over Stamford and fostering collaborations with community agencies. Lastly, she was recently honored with the 2021 Outstanding Librarian Award for the Connecticut Library Association at their virtual conference on May 13th, 2021. Ms. Josephine?
Hello, and thank you, Kim. It's an honor to be on this panel discussion today. And as Ida said earlier, someone said it's about time we give the Bookmobile some highlights. Thank you so very much. The first slide will be a slide of the president of the library. Okay. Stamford, Connecticut is the home of the Ferguson Library. We have the main library in the DiMatteo building, the Harry Bennett branch, South End branch, the Weed branch, and of course, the Bookmobile. And we just want you all to know that Ferguson Library is the heart of the community, and it's led by Alice Knapp, our president. Next slide. Okay, the Bookmobile is currently on the road from Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Before the budget cut, we were on the road 5 days a week and even some evenings. And so now we're trying to catch up. Next slide, please. Now, this is a picture of all of our bookmobiles. Before the branches, before all the other branches, the Bookmobile was on the road, been on the road since 1940. And in the upper left-hand corner, you see the vehicle we used in 1940. This was our first bookmobile. And it was a small truck that was reconfigured to hold books. And then in 1950, we got a new bookmobile, lower left-hand corner. And you see the circulation person there, 1959. Let's move to the next slide. Yes, okay, in 1959, we rolled out a new bookmobile, that's on the left-hand side there. 1985, we got another bookmobile. Y'all see the progression here, how we're moving up. Yes, in 1989, we acquired another bookmobile. And I think that's me there on the right-hand side reading to the children. It was probably the day Kim was off and she let me read. And in 2000, we acquired another bookmobile. And this bookmobile was actually 42 feet long and 8.5 feet wide. And we got a lot of use, go back to, yes, we got a lot of use from that bookmobile. We acquired it in 2000 and we did not replace it until 2019. That's when we rolled out, next slide, please. That's when we rolled out this beautiful baby. The Ferguson Library Bookmobile. And we go all over town. And we were asked to share some of the highlights and some of the lows in this service. As David said, we just love what we do. And even when Kim used to come to work, she was always so excited, you know, to get on the bookmobile to go. And we've had our highs and our lows, but our highs really exceed the lows. Some of our highs are, we bring library services to the community. We participate in community events. We love going to the St. Patrick's Day Parade and the puppet parade, it's just wonderful. And other highlights is seeing the smiles on the faces of children and adults. and even the seniors. With our new bookmobile, we have a lift where they can come on with the wheelchairs. So, I mean, this was like, it made my day. One day we went to the senior home, and this lady, first she said, baby, do you have any Black books? And I said, yes, ma'am. And I said, you can go on board if you like. And boy, when Wick lowered that ramp and she went on, I was just like, wow, it was like heaven to me. Hello, my name is Josephine Fulcher Anderson. I am the supervisor of the Ferguson Library Bookmobile in Stamford, Connecticut. And this is
Wick Bentley. I'm the driver of the bookmobile here.
And we are very excited about our bookmobile to show you the features that we love the most. Thank you and enjoy. Thank you so much. We enjoy sharing our bookmobile with you. And some of the places we go to is daycare centers, senior centers, learning centers, shopping centers, Boys and Girls Club, United Methodist Church. And last year we received a grant to go out in the community on Saturdays and Sundays. So we were able to go to beaches and baseball games and museums and all kinds of community events. I was sharing some of the highlights that we have, and some of the lows I think that all libraries share, whether you're a bookmobile or not, is budget cuts. So when there was a budget cut, it really hurt all of us. And that equate to fewer days on the road. But overall, the future is bright for the Bookmobile. Thank you very much. It was a great opportunity to share.
Thank you, Josephine. That's so enlightening. I recall when I was in Hartford, we came down the Bookmobile before 2000, I think it was 1989. Our staff actually came down to Ferguson to take a look at your 40-foot Bookmobile because we were going to be purchasing one similar. So it was really great to ride around that day to senior citizen places, and I think we went to a daycare, but such an enjoyable day. No one understands how much the Bookmobile is just really a public relation. I always looked at it as like a marketing tool, free marketing tool for your libraries, because that big vehicle is out on the road advertising the public libraries that they serve. So now we will move on from one end of the state, Stanford, down to Hartford. Kim, you want to introduce Michelle?
Absolutely. Sorry, I was saying hi to people in the chat. Michelle, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you, Ms. Josephine, for your presentation. I am so excited to go back down there at some point to Stanford and see the new Bookmobile. So our next speaker is Michelle Mcfarland, the Outreach and Program Coordinator at the Hartford Public Library, a little farther north from Stanford for our friends joining us from other states. Michelle Mcfarland is a University of Connecticut graduate with the Human Resources degree, perfect for this type of work. She's currently working as the Outreach and Program Coordinator at the Hartford Public Library. She is nearing her 25th anniversary with the Hartford Public Library System. She's also a supporter and past executive board member of BCALA CT. Thank you for joining us, Michelle.
It is a pleasure to be here with all of you. I am so grateful that Ida is around, who has led the charge in Hartford. And so let me just begin by saying, those are no shoes anyone can fill, but I can tell you, Hartford was blessed to have great leadership with the Librarian World Service. In addition to Anwar, I have to just shout out the folks who know that the 8th grade is what we call ourselves. Angel Avalas, Lucy Fuentes, Ida McGhee, Jim, Gloria. And if I forgot anyone, you know we love you. The reality is the Library on Wheels is one of the most incredible programs that Hartford has to offer. And to give you a gist of what we do, during the pandemic, it was difficult, but Hartford responded under the leadership of Bridget Quinteri to get us out safely in a way to continue to serve for everyone comes to all of our locations. Our Bookmobile transformed to be what the community needed at a time when we needed something. If you can't go in, you best believe Hartford figured out how to get out. We went to daycare centers delivering books, and we continue to do so. We supported senior centers. We go to special events, jazz concerts. If you invite us, we come. If you don't invite us, we appear. One of the slides below, you see Elise Brown at one of the farmers markets. We started going to the market, letting people know we are here to provide books to everyone in our community, and people love it. We have had a great time figuring out how to do old things new. But the one thing we do know is outside is always best, especially at a time right now. We've been able to put story walks up in different locations throughout the city. We provide support for free little life, free books, free food pantries. When our programs have used up whatever they're going to use, all leftover things go out to the community. Again, Hartford is about making sure everyone has access to be it food, books, and information as they see fit. I enjoy working on the Bookmobile. I work with the most amazing group of people, and we all work together collectively because, to Ida's point, our Bookmobile is used as our marketing tool. It's in our community, it's on our bookmobile, or you will get information. But other than that, in terms of service, there's no greater work to serve in the community anytime you can. I'm very proud of the work that we've done in Hartford and all of the effort that we put in to let people know this is not going to last forever, but you can count on the Hartford Public Library to provide whatever resources we can. And I thank you all for having an opportunity to talk about the wonderful work that we do, not only here in Hartford, but throughout the country with library service. And our bookmobile is a regular license. So the nice thing about our bus is anyone can drive it. We have hydraulics, which is nice, you know. I don't miss the old bus either. We have a new compact version, which works fine for me. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's nice when everyone can be a part of that service. So if for everyone on the line, if you have a vehicle, encourage everyone in all of your locations to get familiar with it, because there's no bad way to go out and meet people. But if you have a bus, you're going to meet lots of people all the time. And that's a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. She is so right, because that bookmobile, I remember the parades in Hartford, but the best part was just letting, you know, when you drove up, people were so happy to see you. And I think that was because we, as Josephine know, we go out to them. It's easy for someone to drive or walk to the library, but when you come into their communities, they appreciate you. And I always, for my staff, when I used to work back in Hartford, we used to oftentimes send little notes and photos to our city council members, because the city was the one that really, you know, and funded the library. So it's important for them to know. And I encourage you, if you're not doing this, send your town manager, your city council people, send them a photo of what you're doing. Invite them to come out for a ride, because you want the support. You don't want the money to dry up. So always remember to include, you know, little thank you notes for support in the bookmobile. And I just want to share, if you haven't seen the March-April issue of American Libraries, there's an article on page 38 about the bookmobiles and outreach during the COVID. So take a look at that when you have a minute. We're going to move on and see what's happening at the State Library. Kim, would you introduce Robert for us?
I would be happy to introduce my fellow Connecticut State Library co-worker, Robert Kinney. Robert is the outreach librarian with the Connecticut State Library. Unfortunately, we don't get to work in the same building when we go into buildings, but I do get to see him at meetings. Robert Kinney has more than 15 years of postgraduate experience and many years of progressively responsible managerial experience in the area of library and information services. He currently serves as the BCALA Connecticut chapter president, a librarian for over 20 years, and an ALA Spectrum Scholar. He currently serves as outreach librarian for the Connecticut State Library. He coordinates the State Library's Third Thursday Brown Bag Lunchtime programs and other educational programs. He loves history and loves to read about the American Civil War and African American history. Robert, thank you so much for speaking today. Well, I did mute you at one point because I think a paper made noise. You're going to have to unmute yourself, Robert. Sorry, I didn't give you that heads up.
Okay, voila, there we go. Okay. Thank you so much for having me today, having us today. And I also want to introduce my coworker, Patrick Smith, who's a curator of the Museum of Connecticut History. And we're both going to talk a little bit about an amazing project that the State Library is currently working on. So we have slides. Okay, here we go. Okay, so basically, this is a project where we're taking a bookmobile and we're converting it to a traveling mobile museum. And the vision of this particular museum or traveling museum came upon us by our former state librarian, Kendall Wiggins. And one of the things that we have had difficulty is getting people into our library because of where we're located. And so Ken had, and we have so many amazing programs. Patrick does a lot of amazing stuff. He goes out into the community, and we have so many different things that we have that we can show people, so many beautiful and different artifacts that we have within the museum. And so the vision that Ken had was to be able to create something that we can take to the communities within the cities in Connecticut. And Patrick can tell you a little bit about some of the programs that he currently does. Patrick, if you can chime in with me a little bit.
Sure. Hi, everybody. In my 15 years at the State History Museum, I've come up with about 12 to 15 different programs, ranging in everything from Connecticut's Native American history all the way through, including the Revolutionary War, World War I, the Civil War, Connecticut's social activism, Connecticut food history, all kinds of things like that. So the idea is, at the museum, our focus is Connecticut's military, political, and industrial history. So I've been working on creating small kind of mini exhibits that we could actually put inside that former bookmobile and turn it into a rolling museum of Connecticut history, where people could come in one door and kind of get a little glimpse of what the museum has to offer before they exit out the other door. And there would be space in there for changing exhibits. Robert would have some space in there for some of the state library information and programs they offer. So it'd kind of be a little bit of a collaboration between the museum and the library, because we all work under pretty much the same roof. We just have slightly different collections and whatnot that we can offer to the public.
Okay, great. So Farrah, if you could back up a little bit to the first slide, and I just want to go to this. Yeah, okay. So basically, with this vision that Ken had, was to bring a lot of these programs to the community. And so back in October 2014, we purchased a bookmobile, a 1988 bookmobile from West Haven Public Library. And once we purchased this, we understood that this was going to definitely be a restoration project, as well as converting a bookmobile to the vision that Ken had. So you can change the slide from there, Farrah. So as you can see in the slides, this typical bookmobile, this is when we purchased it. We went up and we drove it back to Hartford, and this is what we were dealing with. So we said, okay, well, this is going to be a big project for us to deal with. And so it's going to take some time, and it's going to take a little innovation to really create, to fall in line with the vision that Ken had. So you can move it, the slide. And so also, okay, so yes. So one of the things that we had to come up with was an idea to help generate funds. And so what we did was we came up with a GoFundMe page to help us with this project. And so because of course we needed funding to work on the inside as well as the outside. And so once we got the GoFundMe page up, and we started getting people to buy into the vision and started to tell them and share with them about the idea that we're trying to move forward, people became interested. And it's still an active GoFundMe page. So we're still trying to collect funds for anyone who wants to be a part of the vision. So once we did that, the first thing that we wanted to do was to work on the outside. And so we immediately contracted a company and we came up with different design techniques and different sketches that we would think that would be attractive to people, that will show a little bit of, a lot of Connecticut's history. And Patrick, you can talk a little bit about some of the designs that we went through and that we came up with, and some of the images. And this is a work in progress because we're still going to add some additional images on the bookmobile. But Patrick, you can talk a little bit about John Brown and some of the other people that we added.
Yeah, so Robert and I tried to pick different images related to, again, our military, political, and industrial history. So the industrial history on this image here is covered by the rampant Colt up there, which is from Samuel Colt's firearms factory, which was in Hartford for a number of years. We have abolitionist John Brown. He's probably my favorite Connecticut historical figure. So he's definitely on there. And then we went a little fun, so you can see the old New England Whalers hockey team logo on there. There's a picture of a professional baseball team on there as well. That was from Hartford in the 1870s. So we tried to mix it up, a little bit of more serious history, a little bit of fun history, because Connecticut history kind of has a little bit of that. And on this image here, if you look up above the windshield, you can see it's written in reverse. So when this van pulls up behind you in your car or truck or whatever you're driving, it says history is catching up to you. So it's just a little play on words that I wanted to throw in there, and the designers agreed to it. So we have that on there. So again, just keeping it light. It's not, college level history or anything like that. It's just introducing people, kids, senior citizens, whoever, to different aspects of Connecticut history, so that when they leave the museum mobile, they have hopefully a little bit better understanding of our state and everything that's happened here in the past, 450, 500 years. So that's kind of what we're going for when we visit schools and libraries and community centers and things like that.
Okay. So now that we've completed the outside, right now we're in the stages of completing the inside, and we've carpeted pretty much the entire backside of the van, and so we're in the process of putting up panels that give a reflection of historical events and happenings within the state of Connecticut. And you see here in this picture, the company that we're working with, we're going to have different types of posters that show some of Connecticut's industrial history and other historical components of Connecticut. Patrick, you can talk a little bit about that if you want to.
Yeah, everybody out there who has a bookmobile knows it, probably recognizes that shelving. It was probably used in every bookmobile since the 1940s or whatever. All that shelving is very removable. So I've been building up a teaching collection of artifacts that I can bring out on the road with me. That'll depend on whatever program or site we're visiting. And I'd like, hopefully in the future, be able to purchase museum quality small exhibit cases and blocks that we can move in and out of there very easily. And like Robert said, we'll have posters and whatnot that we can take in and out very quickly. They're going to design a system that is basically some kind of real heavy duty industrial Velcro that holds those things in there, so we can change out the exhibits kind of on the fly, depending on where we're going. And the same thing with the objects. They won't be very high value objects. They're teaching collection objects that I've picked up everywhere from flea markets, antique stores, tag sales, on people's front lawns, wherever, just stuff that has some sort of Connecticut connection that I can use to teach the visitors to the museum mobile.
Yeah. Yeah, and so again, we hope to. We're right at this phase where we're trying to finish up the interior of the van, and so when we launch, that's a picture of the carpet because we laid down the carpet as well. But when we launch, the vision is again to go out to schools and to bring the history of Connecticut and what we have in our museum to a lot of our schools and a lot of the communities throughout the state, and to share it. So if you see a big orange van with a lot of stickers on the side, you know it's us. We're in the state, and we're out there, and we're going to share some of Connecticut's history and artifacts to the public.
That's great. So when were you officially your first date? Like, when did you have a lunch? I don't recall.
We don't have a launch yet because we're still working on the inside, and
okay.
we're hoping to finalize that and touch up some other things within the with the van, because of course the pandemic has slowed down a lot of the progress that we were trying to move with. But so we don't have a date yet, but we're right towards the tail end of finalizing the project.
Oh, wonderful. I'm looking forward to that, really am. So now I think we've received several questions. Well, we want to say thank you, of course, to everyone. But it was really enlightening, and it was great to see everyone. It's just been a great afternoon, and so nice that not only were we having people here in Connecticut, but I noticed in the chat, there are people from all over. So, and we do have a couple questions. So let's begin, and anyone can jump in. If Kim, we want to make sure that the panelist is unmuted. Because, someone wanted to know about drivers for your bookmobiles. Are they volunteers? So can Josephine or Michelle jump in on that one?
Michelle, you want to go first? Go ahead.
I yield to you.
Okay, thank you. In Stanford, we do have a paid driver. We don't have volunteers. And it is a challenge to get drivers, like for substitutes when our regular driver goes on vacation, but they are paid, yes. And the vehicle we have now, you don't need a special license.
Right. I think if I'm not mistaken, it's over 40, because I know when I worked in Hartford, Michelle, I could drive the bookmobile. We had several of us would drive, but if you had a bookmobile that was over 40 feet, I think you had to have a CDL license. But it was fun whipping around, driving that that bookmobile.
Well, anyone can drive now. I am the driver. I'm one of the drivers, one of several drivers.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Our entire staff drives. So we have at least 50 drivers.
Wow, that's awesome.
Right, because you don't need the CDL for that, no.
Yeah. And it's a small enough vehicle. So, I mean, we're a little wide, don't get me wrong, but it's nice that it's easier as opposed to the special license, because the bookmobile does have accidents in some cases, not ours, but years ago. Those buses were big, and we did a lot with that large vehicle to get up and down a one-way street. Ida, you know the challenge.
Yes, especially when it was snowing. Those snow drifts and hills.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I have another question that someone wanted to know. Do you need special permission to park at the beaches and parks?
It's nice to give them a heads up if you plan on going, because you need a lot of room to park. So you're going to take a bunch of parking spaces. So a fair warning is always good, so that they can plan accordingly, because you want to have a great time, but you don't want people acting crazy because, you know, the book is there and it's not appreciated because people would rather park. So if you plan accordingly to be out of the way with a large vehicle, it makes it even more exciting, and you get more people to visit, because what's our main goal, Ida? Statistics.
Yeah.
You need the numbers.
Yeah, right.
And
here in Connecticut, we have to fill out a form with the city, and they are everyone loves the bookmobile. So Mrs. Anderson, just fill out the form, and the board of reps have to approve it. So we had no problem at all getting permission, and I'll have to do the same thing again, for the summer.
Yeah.
How long, what time, the days, and how long we were going to be there. So.
Someone wanted to know about insurance. If you want to expand on that. I know you have to have it. So usually, Michelle, is it still true the city of Hartford covers the insurance?
So yeah, we're wrapped into the city fleet. So the bookmobile is serviced by like a regular city vehicle. So our repairs and all of that stuff goes through the city, and unless there's a special thing, it goes out. But for the most part, we're protected, insured, and everything under the city fleet, which is huge. As you know, that's a police car. That all of that stuff, the fire trucks, we're all on the same group.
The same for you, Josephine?
No, the Ferguson Library, we're insured. My understanding is that we're insured by the Ferguson Library Insurance at this time. So any repairs or anything, we go and get them, repaired.
And I would say with the state, any repairs that we have, it's all with the state. And we're covered under the state, by the state.
Can one of you tell me, how do you feel your bookmobile makes a difference in your community? Why should they have a bookmobile in Hartford or Ferguson or any town? What's the difference? What makes the difference?
I always like to say that bookmobiles expand the reach of the library. They serve non-traditional library users. They meet patrons at their point of need. Not everybody can get to the main library or branch. So bookmobiles truly expand the reach or the reach of outreach of the library. And they serve patrons that normally would not walk through the doors. Bookmobiles are a vital outreach service to break down the barriers and get books and resources into the hands of families, children, adults, and teens. So bookmobiles are alive and well, and it's exciting to see the future of the bookmobile profession. So,
and David, I totally agree. Here in Stanford, even though we have 3 branches and the main library, there are places in Stanford that do not have a library. So we're able to go on the east side and the west side where there are no libraries, and to reach people that who would not normally, come to the library for whatever reason, transportation or whatever. And for example, like last Saturday, anyway, was National Kids Park Day. So of course we were there. The Parks and Rec reached out to us. I mean, they were clamoring to get on the bookmobile. I'm trying to keep 6 feet apart, and I finally just said, y'all come on. And then on Sunday we had Stanford Day, and the same thing. I mean, people, they got library cards, and some people doing the week they work, so they can't get to their local library. So we bring the library and the library services to them. Last year we hooked up with the museum here, one of the museums here in Stanford. And we went there every Sunday for about 5 Sundays, and what a turnout. And we also have a passport office. So the passport people came with us. I mean, just imagine the bookmobile, books, library cards, passport, had everything in one place. And it was just awesome. So the bookmobile serves such a great need, and we just don't have enough time. I know, Michelle, you want to jump in. We just don't have enough time to tell you.
It's always something to do in outreach, and to your point with the different services, like we have school choice going on in Hartford, for example. Our school choice person will ride with us to come out into the community. We have whatever, like this is our leap into learning, 1,000 books for kindergarten. I'm always advertising something. So we have our signature program people who come out to, again, at special events, to set up kits, to do different things. We use it all. I know I'm one of the few people who, I'm always looking for a reason to be on the street. I mean, even if you're just parked somewhere near a park, someone's gonna come. Yes. The idea is to be out, be visible, and in the place of closed libraries at a time like this, bookmobiles are a reminder that the library is never closed if you want a book or you want anything. And Hartford is for sure about that. And I will say, we all here are always giving out books. In fact, we have book trucks outside of all of our locations every single day. So we're committed to literacy in our city, and our staff takes that very seriously. But on the road, I'm thrilled when I can stop and see a group of moms with strollers, with babies, or even someone saying, you got a book for somebody? Oh, I sure do. I got a book for everybody. And so I'm always, conscious of the fact that libraries can be intimidating, yes, but you have to love what you do. And it's not hard to advocate what you care about. I live, work, play, worship, and shop in Hartford on purpose. I'm at home. Okay, so my office is technically outside as well as in the building, and I just make it work. Now, there's some perks of outside and there's some perks in the building, but the good news is the word is out that you can count on something to do. The library has activities for people 0 to 100. So I say we blow the dust off those books, put them outside. We can circulate outside. We're doing curbside in Hartford. I think my thing is we're doing a lot, and it doesn't seem like it because we were not totally open, but it was the exact opposite. Our staff flipped. Everyone's on virtual. Everyone's moving around. So the bookmobile has helped to get the kits out. In fact, let me show you guys the kits. Oh, I don't have one to show you. I gave them all away, but we take our old books that we've taken out of our system. We send these out into either our community collections in the space, I'm actually heading over to a location now. We'll give away books that, you know, we're not using. So we make sure everything counts here.
That's so important.
I also wanted to say that bookmobiles and outreach services were essential during the pandemic to meet patrons at their point of need. When people could not come into the library, outreach got the library to the people, and outreach programs were really made all of the impact so libraries could continue serving our communities during the COVID-19 pandemic. So kudos to every single bookmobile and outreach person who really made such an impact when people couldn't come to the library. So kudos to everybody for your hard work during the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to add that our project, I'm so excited about it because it gives us an opportunity to bring history to a lot of people. A lot of people can be educated about Connecticut's history and so many different things that we have, and actually have an opportunity to touch if it's a replica or to look at some of the things that are part of our state. And so I'm excited about the uniqueness of our project, and I think I'm looking forward to it developing.
Yes, that is exciting. I can't wait for that, Robert. Another question that we have in chat, it's someone wanted to know, have you seen a shift in need from large mobile collections on board to more of an outreach limited collection? I think that's something maybe Michelle, you're doing.
You know, the word limited is not in my vocabulary. Working in house, there are no limits. The one thing I will say is we tried something new, and we're doing book leasing for newer titles, because one of the things, Ida, and I know you remember this, there's always one book and you got 50 people waiting for it. So we decided to lean into the reality of you need more than one book, and you need to have what people really want. So instead of buying everything we normally would, I tend to lean to customers. What am I putting out there depending on what neighborhood I'm going to? I know how to order overall, but in a time like this, people are quick to say, well, I don't read. And I'll quickly say, sure you do, just what format? Because everyone's reading something. So we do book leasing, and with the book giveaways, we have decided in Hartford, we've eliminated all barriers. There's no good way to tell one no to literature at all. If you can't check out a book because you really want to, we have a free book that is, we can work with you till we get you back in good standing, but our goal is to work with everyone to make sure that they're able to have access. But no, we still order the same. And everything on our bus circulates. And I just am now, as we get back to what our new normal will be, we'll keep free books anyway, just to address that need as well, because to deny someone a book is criminal.
Yes, I agree.
Criminal. And you taught me that. See, I'm on with my mentors. You can't do that. It's not okay. No. It's always the way. I'll get back to you until you got to get out. Always welcome them.
And Michelle, I ditto everything you said. Absolutely. Literacy is so important. We partner with SPEF, an agency that give free books, but we always have free books on the Bookmobile. Last summer, we went to 3 camps, put the books on the tables. 80% of the kids had library cards. They checked books out, and the other ones they stand. That's just a moment. All of these books over here are free. You know, make sure you take something out. So it's very important to make sure we have books to give to our patrons. And also with the collection for our Bookmobile, we try to see what the nursery school teachers are teaching, whether it's leaves or animals or whatever, and we try to have that collection, you know, on the Bookmobile. And one teacher, you know, would try to take all the books on snakes. So we have to kind of keep a few back for the next site. But yes, we do cater to the needs of our patrons.
And, you know, we, my former colleague and I were out. You know, sometimes you get those big old books to hold them as a placekeeper.
Yeah.
And with social distancing, we were trying to figure out how we're going to be creative to keep people separate and not look like it's, you know, crazy. So we had the gigantic books lined up on the sidewalk. Well, this man went and picked the book up. I want this book. We laughed so hard because we didn't think nobody wanted it. Well, guess what? I didn't say, give it back. I have a picture of him holding up the book. I said, oh my God. He said, I want this. Okay. So sometimes what you plan to use the book for, somebody else has another design. So I've learned, how do you say no to that?
Yeah.
Just let them have it. And it's going to sit on the shelf and get thrown out if you don't.
Mhm. Yeah, that's so true. Can one of you tell me what's been the most rewarding, I guess, bookmobile stop, or that's really like kept you so going, you know, always wanting to go back the next day? Have you had any type of experience that was like, wow, this is why I love my job?
Well, if you want bookmobile service, you have that every day. So last week, it's every day something special because it's different. I went to deliver to a daycare center, and you know, babies are very funny. Although they don't talk, they see everything. I go to take a book bag, and let me show you, these bags are this big. We deliver like multiple bags to daycare centers, to each classroom. Well, the babies recognized that it was the books, and one of them came and drugged the bag herself. I could have cried. I said to the teacher, now this is what I need a picture of. And we have to let them do it so we can get names. But the reality is, when a baby is able to understand that a book is in a bag and they can drag it across the floor and they cannot say a word to me other than, that's when I know my work is done, because those are the people I need to please, the little customers right there. So,
I think all of the, I can think of so many. Last Sunday when we were at the park, one little girl, I said, have you read Jerry Craft's book? So her dad said, oh yes, she's a reader. And I said, I have an autographed copy. And oh my, I thought she was just gonna pass out. She went, you know. And so I opened the bag and gave her the book and showed her the autograph. And the whole family, was 4 of them. They were just so excited to get an autographed copy, but also we had free books, you know, that they can take free books. And at story time, when the librarian is reading, you know, books to the little preschoolers. And I mean, I stopped by and I look, and it just warms my heart. They just sit there on every word, you know, that the librarian is saying, and the interactive play with them. So, I mean, our job is just awesome.
It really, really is. I stated that when I first started, when we first opened up at one, that has been the most rewarding job in my library career.
Wow.
Working at the Library on Wheels, the Bookmobile department. And I will tell you that Michelle mentioned the babies. Well, those babies grow up to become voters at age 18. I always say, you know, don't forget, these little kids are going to be the voters. They're going to be the ones to determine whether you have a budget for your library. So just keep that in mind when you're serving the youth, that they are our future and they will be voting on whether that bookmobile is really needed. And I know that it is, because your customers are loyal. I will say that the bookmobile customers, I mean, they're there every week. And if you're not there, they're like, oh, you know, we used to have a call-in tree, like if there was a snowstorm, we really couldn't go out. But when the snow was finished, there would be piles of snow. And our driver, rest his soul, he would just sort of drive around, you know, if I was driving, it's like, oh, wow, watch out. But we wanted to be there because those people couldn't make it to their nearest branch or to the main library. We were their library, so we had to go out. Are there any other questions or comments before we end?
I also wanted to say, I think we know, for all of us that work in bookmobile and outreach services, how very rewarding our positions are. We know, working in this field, that we are making a true impact and difference in the lives of our patrons every single day. The smiles you receive from the children, the hugs from seniors, the pats on the back, the handshake, the smiles. We know we are truly making such a difference. And we love our jobs. Everybody who works in bookmobile outreach services, we all love our jobs. And I always say, you have to be happy and nice to work in outreach. And that's the job. We're the happy department, and everybody here today is so inspiring. And as we love just what we do, we love making a difference. We love making an impact. We love reaching the underserved.
And the other thing, just want to say about a Bookmobile Day. We celebrate in April. Well, here in Stanford, we celebrate the whole month.
Oh.
And this year we had a poster contest. We've had quilts, but we take patches to the nursery schools in the different places. They bring them back. We sewed together, made a big quilt. This year we had posters, and I mean, the creativity of these young people, just wonderful. So we do the whole month, David, not just one day. We just do it up. Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Awesome.
I do have another question. Someone wanted to know, do you have any advice for someone, a newbie working on the Bookmobile?
It's passion. And you have to love what you're doing. You know, that it's be approachable, and it's hard to explain. It's just like a feeling tone where you just love what you do. You want to match the book with the person. You want that person to feel comfortable when he or she comes on the Bookmobile. Just and be yourself. Be authentic. Just be yourself and try to match the book with the patrons. Yeah. Literacy is so important. It's just so powerful.
I want to say literacy is hard work. You either have a heart for it or you don't. There's no prescription on being good to people, not when it comes to this kind of support, because we see it in terms of, yeah, we're delivering books, we're delivering programs, but behind the books, behind the program, there's a person. And I will say this, I'm not sure if every system has this, but Hartford is fortunate to have one of the greatest programmers on earth, and that's Liz Castle. She does dynamic programming for our entire system. And as a result of that, her work feeds into outreach work, because, oh, I heard about this program, and the Bookmobile is going to be here. So if she's doing something and a book is mentioned, we get the book on a Bookmobile in case people show up. So you got to partner with every single department. So when you're learning how to be on the Bookmobile, learn how to be people-oriented, learn how to be open, and learn how to understand something bad is going to happen no matter what you do, but you can only do your best. And your best is good enough if you've shown up with something to say or something to give, or just a kind word makes a big difference in outreach, especially now.
So true. And I will say, I mean, I know you guys are still doing this, because our stops was every other week. So let's say if someone came out today, Thursday at 1 o'clock, and the student needed information on the solar system, well, we have so many books and so many students, so you may have to take that book back, another book next Thursday at 1 o'clock, or reserves. I remember the Bridges of Madison County. I swear everybody in Connecticut wanted that book. So we would have to put books on reserve, but everyone was so thrilled when you could say, here's your book. You know, that was like, you know, they felt like they made you feel like $1 million because you provided a service for them, not just books. We had DVDs. I'm sure you guys have that in Ferguson too. It's like all the materials that are at your main library, your Bookmobile can provide that service. And I'll just say, for me also, one of the best rewards was meeting and serving the 0 to 100 population. And unfortunately, you just get, unfortunately or fortunately, you got so connected to these people. I swear I never became so close to the elderly. And I think I did that because I didn't grow up with my grandparents. They all died when I was young. So I really connected to the elderly and have kept in touch to this day with some of them while I'm here in Rhode Island. So it's just a rewarding position. And I'm just so thrilled that BCALA Connecticut did this today. We thank all of our panelists. It's just an enlightening afternoon. And I think if you have any other questions, you can feel free to reach out, Robert, if I'm not mistaken, through our website and also through ABOS website as well. Are there any closing remarks? And thank you guys. It's just been wonderful that you've shared what the Bookmobile is doing. It's just a library on wheels.
Well, I just want to say, seeing you all today is better than the old times, but most importantly, as I do look forward to celebrating the big 25 years of service, I learned from the greatest of the greatest, all of you, Josephine, Ida, Anwar Ahmad, everyone who has helped Bridget Quinteri to build me as a leader in the system. And even now, years later, still happy to be here serving. My service is my legacy to the city as yours, Ida, and I'm holding up the best way I can and making sure that people know you can count on the Library on Wheels. We are coming and we're glad to be here. And thank you all for the wonderful work you're doing across the board, because we know libraries mattered way before bookstores. They still do. They always will. And we'll be here to hold that up. We will. And thank you all for this wonderful opportunity. It's been my pleasure.
I want to also thank you all for the opportunity to share my passion and my love for my job and for literacy. The Bookmobile has been on the road here in Stanford for 81 years.
Wow.
And here in the East, we really set the tone. Mr. Ernie D. Matea always wanted the biggest and the best Bookmobile.
Yeah.
So it's just a great opportunity. And Michelle, it's an honor to see you and to share this panel discussion with you. We're so proud of you for what you're doing. Just keep up the good work. And please know that Ida, Robert, all of us, Farrah, we're all here for you. We encourage people to please join our BCALA Connecticut affiliate. We meet monthly. Robert maybe want to highlight something about that, but BCALA, we've been around a long time. We encourage members to come and come and share this journey with us. This journey of sharing the love of reading, this journey of knowing that reading is important. So please join BCALA. Either Kim or Robert or someone can tell you what the membership is, and we love for you to join us as we move forward. Thank you. David, thank you. We enjoyed being a panelist with you, Robert and Patrick. Thanks so much.
Patrick. Robert, you're muted.
There we go. Okay, there we go. Yeah, thank you all. Absolutely. I'll piggyback off of Ms. Josephine. Please, if you're interested in being a part of BCALA Connecticut chapter, please join and check us out to see what we're all about. And I believe there's information on our website that will lead you to a membership, and you can explore different things, different opportunities, and different committees that you may be interested in being a part of. And so again, please, if you're interested, please check us out. But again, thank you all for allowing us to share the vision that we have and just allow us to be a part of this great discussion. And so we just look forward to being out there with all of our fellow bookmobilers, and hopefully, our vision will continue, and people will see us and buy into it and be a part of us. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Kim, I think Kim wants to share.
Kim, where's Kim? Oh, Kim?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Any closing remarks?
Thank you, everyone. I've seen some questions coming in the chat that I'm trying to respond to quickly. Rose, if you're still here, people asking if out-of-state folks are allowed to join the organization, BCALA CT, absolutely. We've got multiple tiers of membership. We've got student, we've got librarian, we've got friend of BCALA CT, we've got organizational members. So I have dropped that link into the chat, but for those of you listening, it is BCALA-CT.org. We would love to have you, and I hope we hear from some of you all. Please reach out with any questions about the organization. Please reach out to David with any questions about outreach services. While we were talking, I was like, I wonder if I can hitch a wagon to the back of the bike that I don't have and hand out copies of books. Someone asked about the free books that can be given away. I don't know about you all, but I get lots of advanced reader copies of books. They can't be added to collections. What a great way to share knowledge and information. That half of this bookshelf are books that can't be added to a collection. Please join, please promote outreach. Please reach out and ask any questions. We will send the recording out when that is ready. Someone asked for the slides. We will confer with our presenters if they're okay sharing the slides. We'd be happy to do those with you. Thank you all for joining us and for your engaging questions. And if you have the opportunity to work on a bookmobile, snatch it up, please. I'm glad I did.
Lastly, if you haven't attended a national bookmobile conference, David, tell them they have to put that on your bucket list. You have to attend a conference. It's the best.
I always say that ABOS is a family. We're a family that encourages, inspires, mentors, supports, and is just there for each other. An ABOS conference, which this year is virtual, is like a family reunion where you meet old friends and you see old friends, hug them, and meet new friends. It's like a family reunion every conference. So join ABOS if you're not a current member.
Please.
And
All
can
right.
I share?
Thank you, Kim. I just want to thank Kim for an excellent job on making sure everything works. Kim, this is probably one of the few Zooms I jumped on that was super duper important and everything was spot on. So thank you for making the technology manageable, because that is a skill that those of us who are outside playing don't do inside. So thank you.
Thank you,
Yes.
everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Farrah, too, because you made it work. We really appreciate this. Everyone take care. We look forward to seeing you again.
And our next program is in June. Do we want to share that?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Robert, President?
We have a slide for that, I think.
Oh, that works. Is Wick still in here? Hi, Wick, if you're still in here. Bye, Wick.
Yeah, and Wick is our driver here in Stanford.
Oh, okay.
He's awesome. He's a driver. He's a circulation person. Get the
He was answering a couple questions in the chat, so I think he had to leave, but I miss you, Wick.
So the next date is June 17th, Juneteenth celebration.
Yes.
Wonderful. Look forward to doing that. Is that 6 p.m.?
6 p.m.
Hi, Denise.
I'm on my way to Barber Branch, so I will see you guys later. Outreach event.
Road, huh?
All right.
Ready to
Take
go.
care,
Take
everyone.
Take care. Have a wonderful afternoon, and thanks to everyone.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you all for coming out and being a part of this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ida, our fabulous MC.
Oh, you're welcome. You know me. I love libraries. See my shirt? Libraries. Everything about me.